where do you find you go when your cock, your penis, is not giving you what you want, right? Do you enter into your intimate play, your sex play, whatever you want to call it, with a lot on your mind, like thinking that your job is to get it right, to get your partner off, to make them feel good. And we all know that all those ideas of wanting your partner to orgasm, and this is whether you're a male or female, is it's good intention, right? It comes from the heart. You care. You want to see your partner in pleasure. And where has it interfered, for those who have those male parts, is where has it interfered that you're sharing this extraordinary time of passion, of connection, and you're naked, you're rolling around in the sheets, and all of a sudden your cock is saying, you know what, I don't want to do what you want me to do. So what do you do in those moments? I know one of the common themes can be having stress and anxiety because as a masculine, as a man, and I'm speaking from people I've worked with, is there's a lot of shame that is carried in the masculine body because there's an idea that is your masculinity, that it is your role to show up with this hard cock and to please and bring your partner to this immense climax like no other. And today I'm here as a woman, I'm here to share with you a different idea, because I find when I'm with a lover that how limiting that can be. And in my body, it's actually a turn off, because if we can take a step back and presence ourselves, and this might be a whole new way of looking at sex and sexuality, is that what do you want to actually experience with this person you're with? Like, think of the qualities that you want to experience. And often I'll go to, well, I want to experience intimacy. I want to experience connection. I want to experience pleasure. I want to experience playfulness. And that's going to be different for each person involved, right? And it's going to be different in your body compared to your lover's body. And so, but that opens the door to like, okay, so maybe the erection isn't happening, or, oh shit, like I came sooner than I wanted to. But now where can we go to create what you actually want? If what I want is connection, intimacy, pleasure, and play, it's not dependent on a hard cock. And I just want to repeat that. It is not the pleasure, the intimacy, the companionship, the play is not dependent on a hard cock. I believe, and this is just my own, idea, is that that's an outdated idea. Because if I argue with reality, again, if it's premature ejaculation, if for whatever reason the physical body is just not wanting to have, an erection at the moment, is if I focus on that, I'm arguing with reality. The truth is this is what's happened. It's not a bad thing. And now how can I create pleasure, connection, and playfulness? How can we as a team, because we are a team in that moment with our lovers, we are a team in that moment, is now how can we get inquisitive and curious to, all right, well, what can we do that's going to feel good in the body? Often when it comes to performance anxiety, and you men know this listening in, is when you get caught up in the headspace, and now you're feeling potentially insecure, embarrassed, and you might have some self-judgment and some shame. Yes, curiosity is crucial. But when you start going into that spin cycle in your head, like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be doing this job. I'm supposed to be doing it right. Because how many of you, do you feel like it is your job? And I'm here today as a woman, again, to let you know it's not your job. I feel if we can come together with our lover from a place of, I want to share pleasure, but you're not responsible for my pleasure, it provides an immensely, so much more pleasure for us. And so in the moment that the physical body's not cooperating with what you want, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, is that we go into that spin, right? Performance anxiety. I got to do it right. And I'm here with you. Like, I get it. It's been handed down, right? Conditioned over lifetimes, that idea. But if I can reframe that and sit with the lover and be like, oh, well, what would feel good in our bodies right now if this isn't happening? Well, why don't we exchange a sensual massage? I'd love to massage your cock, or, you might want to massage the yoni, the woman's body or the man's body, depending on who your partner is. But now you're creating those qualities that we talked about: pleasure, playfulness, connection, intimacy. You might want to spoon and breathe. Do you know that breath alone can bring someone to orgasm? And so find those creative ways. And that's all I'm encouraging today through this conversation, is don't get limited on the physicality of an erection. Or if it's not happening, how can you reframe and take yourself out of that so you can create connection? Because often what starts to happen when you say, for an example, if we went into a sensual massage, now the mind and the nervous system, right? There's a connection there, starts to have a space to relax. It just automatically, you're not thinking anymore. And what likely, more so than not, often starts to happen is an erection will just happen without you even knowing, truly. Because you're so deep in your pleasure, without thinking you have to perform and do an action. So we're taking away the stress of performing, bringing you more into your body. For a woman, a massage like that, if she's also pulled up, right, energetically, we pull up from our root up to our heart, and things constrict when we're really stressed, the nervous system is on guard, is she'll have a hard time orgasming or being fully in her pleasure, her arousal, and her wetness. So those sensual massage or the spooning and just cycling your breath takes you again out of the performance, out of the need to do something, and allows the body to naturally find that aroused state again in its own way. So that next piece is let go of the idea of what you think arousal is. And the last piece I want to add, and again, this is very personal, and I'm curious for the women out there if they feel the same, but for me, it's a turn off when a man comes into the space saying, I want to get you off. I want you to orgasm. For some people, there's going to be a different relationship with their sexuality. I find relationships with their sexuality mature, and it doesn't really depend on age, but there's a maturity depending on where we are in our education around sexuality. For me, I know there's great pleasure in what I call ingasming. And so that's where that orgasmic release, rather than releasing through the genitals, actually turns inward. And there's this heightened arousal and tingle and heightened state throughout the whole body, which can last for days and weeks, versus ejaculation or orgasm, which is external, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's many benefits to it. But for my personal body, there's just a quicker release, and I enjoy playing in the energy. And you might find your lover or lovers enjoy the same thing. So rather than assuming that bringing someone to orgasm or ejaculation is what they want, or maybe in their highest desire of pleasure, what I'm encouraging in, and that word of curiosity came up earlier, is talk about it. Ask. What do you find pleasurable? How do you experience orgasm in your body? What do you want to experience today in your body? Because, we don't talk enough about our desires, our pleasures, the way we like to be touched, the way we like to explore, and then we just assume, right? We just assume, and then we're going into our sex play with outdated ideas. And so I'm just going to leave you with that. And thank you everyone for joining me today. And I look forward to more very soon. Be well.